What up, sports fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guys, the horseman, Alex Costas, Zion Zenner, rest in peace, NYG Jeffy T. This is the Premium Taste Podcast. Let's go. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Premium Taste Podcast. I am Mac the Giants fan, here with my guys, Alex Costas and Zion Zenner. Man, how y'all doing tonight, fellas?
I'm doing great. Thanks for that tribute to Jeff. We never forget that legend. Premium Takes is not Premium Takes without him. So thank you, Mac, for shouting him out. But I'm doing pretty well. Zion, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great too. I know Jeff is up there looking down on us, super pumped about this playoffs. He's probably having a blast up there watching the playoffs, and I know how much he loved basketball. I know how much this time of the year meant to him. So absolutely, never forgotten. Definitely a founding member of Premium Takes, and your place will never be replaced. Yes, sir. And thank you, Mac, for hosting tonight. Can't wait to talk about some sports.
Well, let's get right to it, man. Game 6 is about to get underway here in San Antonio. Critical matchup for the Spurs tonight. Do or die right now. They want their season to go on. They want to force a big down Game 7. They got to see what they're going to do tonight, man. Zion, I know you were speaking pretty big and bold on this before this series got started, man. Want to know how you feel any different about it than you did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Series of the year. Definitely didn't give OKC as much credit as they deserved, but obviously reigning champions, trying to be the first team to do it back to back in I believe 6 to 7 years since Golden State did it. I kind of had a feeling it was going to go down to Game 7. I kind of took my whole time boosting up San Antonio Spurs, and I wouldn't say I forgot, but I would say that I didn't really give OKC the amount of credit that they deserve to put together a roster that they were able to take over the league with. Right, they have the reigning MVP, two-time MVP back to back, and they have the firepower to beat basically any team on earth. I know that we did have a steal in Game 1, and that's what I was kind of hoping for. This is a game that is a must-win for the Spurs, and Victor is probably going to need to play the best game of his career, because every single game that he plays is the biggest game of his career. What this series has kind of taught me is, as much as he is going to be the guy's an alien, the guy's really a freak of nature, right? And as much as he is going to be dominant in the future, if he doesn't make it through tonight, and even if he does, it separates great players from good players. There's great players focus on what they did wrong the previous season and fix it, right? That's one thing that I want to mention. Like, look at LeBron, for example. The only way LeBron stays in the league for 20 plus years is fixing his mistakes in the offseason. I think this offseason, Victor needs to put on some more weight, kind of put on some more muscle, and kind of get his form, because he's kind of getting bodied by, I would say, not weaker defenders, because Hortenstein is a dog out there, but he's getting bodied when he shouldn't be getting bodied. And when you get physical with a guy like his nature, he's kind of, I don't want to call him soft, but he's playing kind of soft. And he had a dud in Game 5. He needs to gonna come out here and really needs to have a big game. And one thing I do want to point out is, the ball responsibilities, right? Victor has clearly shown that his dribble is not up to standard with some of the top team defenses in the league, right? So that's why obviously the ball handling is going through Castle. But that being said, I want to see him more involved, right? Because I kind of feel like him not being a main distributor of the ball he's kind of out of plays, and I don't need your best player on the team being out. Like there's series where he's going like 2 to 3 minutes without even touching the ball. And as good as Castle is, as good as Vessel is, and as good as Fox is, I need Victor more involved. He needs to be touching the ball at least every series. If it's not a fast break, and he needs to play more physical. And I know I'm focusing on him in my take here. I have to give OKC some credit, man. They're dogs. They're coached well. They have honestly a way better team. And I just kind of feel like they've been playing good basketball. And whoever wins this game has a tough matchup with the Knicks. I changed my opinion on them in the past couple of weeks, but we'll get to them when we get to them. I just want to say shout out to OKC, man, for playing good basketball, high level basketball, and it's been a fun series to watch. I won't say I'm kind of surprised. The only game that kind of surprised me is probably that last game. But outside of that, stay physical. I love what Hortenstein's doing. I know Adam's probably going to mention him with his take, so I'll leave him at that. And as I say that, Victor just knocks in a nice three. So hopefully they can get it going and they can take this back to OKC and go to. That being said, back over to you, Mac.
Yeah, good stuff, Zion. Good stuff there, bro. Adam, man, what's your thoughts on OKC in San Antonio? Now this series has been going, brother.
That's pretty interesting. When it first came out, we thought that Spurs would, kind of really awaken the beast and maybe overcome OKC. But right now they're having their struggles. And I think it's because it's a young team that in the moment, this is their first time here on the biggest stage, right? OKC's been to the playoffs a couple times. This is their second time in the Western Conference Finals. They won the championship last year. This is not new to them. This is expectation for them. This is a level for them. This is just par for the course. Right? Because they've never been there.
I don't know. Losing
On that ladder that you have to climb that mountain. And these are the games that define careers, right? And if he's the player that we think he is, this will be the game that he shows it in, right? And really saves their season. Whatever happens at OKC happens at OKC, right? It doesn't really matter. I think they're going to win in OKC in Game 7. This Game 6 is hard for them, but I don't think it's going to phase them. I think SGA, what he's shown me is how good of a player he is. That's what he's shown me. Like the game that they got injuries up and down their team, and they're so good that the role players are doing well, and that's what's really key for a basketball team. It's role players. If you have depth on your bench, like OKC does, you can win games because when their bench comes in and you're outplaying their bench and outplaying a lot of these young guys who are making mistakes. I mean, the one guy, Vassell, had like 14 turnovers in the game. You cannot do that and expect to win a game against the defending champs. It's not going to happen. You can't have 14 turnovers. You just can't. And so for me, while I hope the journey works out for Wembanyama, there's a lot of things that they leave on the table. I do like Fox for them. I thought he was a great addition coming from Sacramento, being the second scorer. He needs to play a big game this game. He needs to have a big game for San Antonio to kind of get over the top. Because I think what Wemby really needs is he needs a guy that when he's having the off night, the other guy lifts. And that's what Fox was supposed to bring. Now, I know he's dealing with an ankle injury, and that could be affecting his play and his minutes, obviously. But when those two guys get cooking, the other guys like Vassell, Harper, their roles get bigger because now who are you going to double? You're going to double Wemby, or you're going to now double Fox because I have to bring somebody over and help on him. And then you have Vassell and Cassell, who are also out there, who are big men who can shoot threes and things of that ilk. So it stretches the defense, right? So I just think that the Spurs are a little ahead of where they need to be. Like no one thought they were going to be in this position. I think the moment is a little big for them. I don't think they win the series regardless of what happens tonight. I don't think they can overcome OKC in Game 7. I think it's going to be a dogfight tonight. And, the hardest game to have is an elimination game. So this will really test the mettle of OKC because if we want to talk about the matchup next week, either team from the West has things that can really hurt the Knicks. And one of those things, like I just mentioned, is depth at the bench positions. And we'll see. But I will say, this has been an exciting series. I told Mac about that dunk I saw the other day. Woo! I forget whether I think his name was Castle. Oh my goodness. He posterized the dude in game 2.
That was amazing.
He posterized the guy in game. Like I have not seen a poster like that in a long time, bro. When I got up out of my seat, I got goosebumps. I was like, oh my God. I had to rewind it. It was so good. It was so good.
I love it how he's getting his credit too. Like, this is his first playoffs. Castle, I know Victor's the young rookie everybody's talking about, right? But if you look at Castle, he's young too. He's only been there for 2 years himself.
He's very polar.
Yeah.
Because one minute he'll give you like 20 points, but he'll give you 14 turnovers, right? So that's where he's the big proponent of the mistakes that are happening with the Spurs. If the Spurs can cut down the turnovers, and he himself specifically can cut those down, they're going to be a formidable team. But anyways, I don't want to lament on him. The dunk he had, people go back and watch it. I'm telling you, in the playoffs, I haven't seen a dunk this good in about, I don't know, almost 5-6 years. That's how good it was. It was just, whoo.
You know what I want to also point out? One Pacific playoff, I believe it was the 4th game or something like that, is that logo. Do you know the logo shot? Like Victor just casually walks up and drops a logo shot. Like you don't see that shit every day. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's just on the game 4.
Like, yeah, like he just walks casually. Just a casual logo shot. Like what are we, Steph Curry nowadays? Like it's just insane what the guy can do.
Mac was mentioning how he brings the ball up, right? Well, they are taught differently over in Europe from a small age to play the entire.
Cut off at him.
Yeah, he cut out.
And he had something really good to say too.
Yeah, I know he definitely did. He was cooking with something.
I mean, the kid's a beanball, right? I mean, I don't know what they're going to feed him. Give him some. You know what? I got it. Put him on that McDonald's diet. Get him Big Macs and milkshakes all day, right? And then he'll put on the weight.
Yeah, he's going to be a beast, dog.
Then he can put on the muscle. And then, I think if he can keep his touch, he'll be unstoppable. Because if you're going to be the thing about him is the one weakness I found with him that I'm watching now is that if you got a lower guy like a Hardenstein or those guys that can kind of push back on him a little bit in the paint, and kind of, make him use his strength, it throws him off a little bit. Just that slight subtle movement, that not having the strength of body or having to finesse your way.
Cut out again.
Yeah, he keeps on cutting out. It sucks.
Damn. Well, I would like to see Wemby get some more muscle put on him as well. Just that's like the one thing lacking with him.
Well,
I don't. You keep on cutting in and out.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I'm just letting you know because I know you're dropping some knowledge and some good points, but we just can't hear them.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, what I'm saying is he needs to get bigger, stronger, and similar to what Kevin Durant did, where he came out, he couldn't bench 135 pounds, and he's like, well, I don't need to bench that. Well, guess what? I think for Wembanyama, he needs that strength a little bit because he's not dealing with guards like Durant is. Durant has a dynamic outside game, right? So he doesn't have to need to be in the paint. Where Wembanyama, his main goal for me is in the paint. All those little bunny shots, things like that, being able to just outstretch somebody, but you need a little bit more strength, and that's what I think he works on. And seen.
Well, that's. I mean, I definitely agree. You know what I mean? I think one thing I can say about OKC in this series is the bench, man. The bench is the difference. Honestly, I feel like Game 5. I mean, they're pretty much all 3 of the games that they won so far. It's just about the bench, man. Caruso off the bench, this dude is invaluable right now to OKC right now coming off the bench. And then all the points you guys are hitting off with Wemby, man. I totally agree. The physicality, I would like to see. I mean, a big man. I get it. All the finesse, cool. It's nice. great skill set you got there, young man. But yeah, bulk up a little bit. You're a big man, and you need to be able to impose that will a little bit more. Because I mean, I watched him the other in one of these damn games. It looked like he didn't even jump off the court and dunk the ball. Like he just reached up and just dunked it. Like I'm like, what the fuck? He didn't even jump. So
we all know the dunk.
But that's a good segue into the Knicks a little bit, man. Because if San Antonio can pull this one off tonight and then win Game 7 as well, and then go match up with the Knicks for the championship. You're talking about how Wemby and this physicality, but the Knicks got hit with some bad news a little bit today, man. Mitchell Robinson broken thumb, no timetable for his return, and I mean,
wow,
yeah, sure, it is because he's the guy that kind of enforcer, like big man, you know, the guy that when he's out there, he's able to get to the glass a little bit, man, and stuff like that, and get them extra possessions. So that's going to be that could be a tough blow, possibly. We'll see. Knicks still have plenty of time to get ready. The finals don't start till next week, obviously. But
it's huge. It's huge.
What's your thoughts, Adam?
That's huge news coming down. I did not know. I thought Mitchell Robinson was an underrated player for the Knicks. I think he's their physical presence. When a guy like, for example, Wemby, he can intimidate him, even though Wemby's not, he's not as big as Wemby. He's strong, he's physical, and to have him not be in the lineup is a huge blow, I feel, for the Knicks, because I just think he adds that physical defense. I think when he came in, the Knicks defense really shut things down. And when a guy like Karl Anthony Towns doesn't have the scoring that is needed, there needs to be somebody else to grab the board. So this is huge. Broken thumb is, I mean, he can play, but still, that you got to use your hands to rebound and be physical. So he'll be out at least 2 or 3 games at least, and that could be where cooks the Knicks. I hope they can find a way to kind of get over that hump. But this injury is huge. I think when you look at the Knicks,
his pinky finger. Actually, I meant his pinky finger, not his thumb. His pinky finger.
Oh well, maybe that's not as bad. I mean, it's still a finger, but still a finger. But I mean, they said no timetable, so obviously they know he's not going to play probably next week, right? Who knows? Maybe they tape it up. Maybe he's like a Charles Oakley, unless it's really bad in terms of he snaps something really bad and he's going to need a cast for like a few weeks. That's a different story. Then it might change. But either way, he'll be limited. Let's just put it that way for now. And that's huge because you got the things that these teams can do. And the things about the 2 teams that are coming out, I know you said the Spurs. They have other big men that they can also throw out there. Cornette can give them minutes when needed, right? If Karl Anthony Towns doesn't do it. These guys can rotate in, whereas the Knicks, they have their core 6, right? They have a few other guys that come in, like Shampin and those guys, but those guys are not as deep, I don't feel, as the Spurs bench. So I think there's an uphill battle, especially with Mitchell Robinson being gone. I think he was their lightning rod on defense, because what the Knicks have won on a lot, which people don't realize, is the offensive rebounds and out-rebounding teams. What killed a lot of these Cavaliers and the Detroits and the Philadelphias that went up against the Knicks and Atlanta's is they couldn't hit the open shots when they were there, and then they couldn't get the offensive rebounds that were in their vicinity because the Knicks were out rebounding. And that's what kept the Knicks in the game, because when you have that imposing defense and you're not able to get second chance opportunities, you win the game. And I think a guy like Mitchell Robinson helped with the Knicks doing that. Now, if he's out and they're playing the Spurs, I mean, that's tough to have because the Spurs now can match up differently, right? Putting Wemby in against Karl Anthony Towns, that's a matchup I like because he's not going to – Karl Anthony Towns doesn't spend a lot of time in the paint. He's not a huge, in the paint kind of guy. He likes the perimeter shots. He likes to, take jumpers. He's not going to do the same things that Mitchell Robinson is going to do, who's going to be camped out in the middle of the, paint, just waiting, throwing elbows and trying to grab rebounds, right? So I think – if he doesn't play, it could be hard. I think it's going to be hard for the Knicks either way. But they've proven everybody wrong so far. But I just think the West is that good. I know that was long-winded. Sorry.
Zion, if anyone had any thoughts on the possibility of what it can mean for the Knicks without Mitchell Robinson?
Yeah, that's gonna be tough, like Adam said. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Mitchell Robinson is the longest acting Nick. One of the very few that they actually that they drafted, right? And I know they have some young guys like Ariel, that other center that just got drafted a couple years back. You got McBride, but as far as like the team, they bought in everybody, right? They traded for they grabbed Munson in free agency. They got Bridges, they got Agunobi, they bought in Towns, right? Mitchell Robinson was the guy that actually drafted, and finally he's been there through the struggles. He's been there through this team over the last 5 years of rebuilding and trying new things out, and finally this team reaches the finals. And he can't even play in the games, which is kind of sad on his behalf. And Adam knocked it off perfectly, what he brings to the roster, right? His physicality. Not only that, but it's almost like when he's on the court, they play tougher, right? And that's exactly to line up with Adam's point. When you look at the East, I truly believe that it's going to be hard whether it was the Cavs or whether it Knicks. Now, the Knicks been destroying everybody, so I'm not trying to, undermine them and not give them any credit. But I agree with Adam. It's just the rest is the four superior contest division conference, should I say? I'm sorry, and I just believe like whoever wins this series right here, we're looking at the finals championship. Whether it's going to be OKC on a back-to-back, or whether it's going to be San Antonio. I'm not trying to overshadow the Knicks. I just think that it's a bad matchup when it comes to size. They have the speed, they might have the physicality, but I just look at.
It's not even just that though. You guys got Knicks are shooting the lights out as well. I mean, also. I hear what you're saying, but I'm not right now. I just feel like after watching what the Knicks have done for the past month of the season they haven't lost a basketball game in a whole month. This team, I'm sorry, and they're slaughtering people. They're not just even beating; they're slaughtering their opponents. I mean, they took
130 to 93 is like something crazy.
They took Cleveland's heart. They took when they came back in that first game and 22 points in the fourth quarter. They just took Cleveland's heart at that point. Cleveland, they were done. They were done. Took a fork in them. They were done. and then what they did to the Sixers as well, and even in the round before that, I mean, clobbering people. Absolutely clobbering. I mean, what they did to the Hawks in the first round in the closeout game. Did they beat them by like 50 points or something like that? It was ridiculous. I mean, even in closeout games too. The Knicks are. I mean, I just can't ignore what they're doing. And right now, I mean, I get it. I understand on paper how much better the Western Conference. These two, the San Spurs, OKC, the two best teams in the league actually, basically this year. So look, but I can't discount what the Knicks are doing right now. I can't write them off because they're balling. They're balling right now.
Well, I do get that, but like when I look at the Hawks, and I'm not trying to be mean to the schedule, right? When I look at Spencer's schedule, like outside of Jared Johnson, like what is the Hawks really gonna do? Then when you look at the 76ers, they barely got past
the beat the Knicks. That's what the Hawks are, the last team to beat the Knicks.
That's true. But when you play the 76ers, like the 76ers barely beat the injured Lakers. Well, old man LeBron, they barely got by that, and Maxey, if Maxey doesn't have the game of his life, Embiid's soft. He grew to be soft after all those injuries. Then when you look at the Cavaliers, you have a choker in Harden that can never really show up, and even when he shows up, you have underperforming in Devontae Mitchell, what we was calling Jason Tatum a couple years ago. Devontae Mitchell, that's him right now in the playoffs. It's like nothing against the Knicks, but it's like. You're going to have to rely on their outside shooting because the paint's going to be locked down no matter who's there.
I will say this. The two teams that they are going to face have better defenses than a lot of the teams that they've played. Right? I knew Cleveland is pretty good, but there's something about a 22-point lead with OKC and a 22-point lead with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Right? OKC, SGA is going to take over the game. Right? There's not going to – Donovan Mitchell – in the fourth quarter of that game one, touched the ball like once. That's not going to happen with OKC. So Well, I want to believe the Knicks can do it, and I think they're a team of destiny, and maybe they are. Maybe they're a team of destiny, Mac. Like you said, like this is it. The Knicks win this game, maybe they'll sell themselves where they don't win another championship for another 25 years or something like that, another 70 years, whatever it was. Maybe this is their time, right? You know, the Rangers haven't won since '94. The Knicks haven't won since 70 something. Maybe maybe this is their time.
I mean, look, this Jalen Brunson, man, he's just right now. He's just looking unstoppable, man.
Let me ask you guys this, because this was brought up on a show that I was watching earlier today. If the Knicks get it done, right, and I think they're gonna open favorites. They might even open favorites against both teams. Probably not the OKC, but definitely against the Spurs, they're gonna open as favorites. But let's look at Jalen Brunson, right? If they win the finals, right, is Jalen Brunson the best player to ever put on that jersey?
What? Come on, we can't go there right now. I mean, been too many great Knicks. Too many great Knicks.
Exactly. But they went there this morning, and I'm gonna go there here because of the fact that yes, there's been a lot of great Knicks, but this is probably, and I haven't been watching basketball as long as you guys, but I get the Patrick Ewings of the world and a lot of good players that formed in the Knicks dynasties in the 90s. But when you look at this overall, like you just said it, right? You look at what they did overall in this playoffs. They've been outscoring teams by over 200 points. If you look at the total outscoring teams in like the fourth quarter, I forget what stat I was looking at.
No, absolutely
amazing, right?
They're setting records. They're setting records. Absolutely, they are. They're demolishing people. It's time.
A guy in like that came over from Dallas. Where did he come over? I forget where he came over from, but I think it was Dallas. That like half the Knicks didn't even want, right? They're like, we're overpaying, and then look at him now. Like he literally is gonna go down as a legend.
It's deeper than that. It's even deeper than that, though. When you look at this Knicks roster right now, I look at my boys, my Villanova trio. These guys all literally were playing together in college on the same teams. Like this is Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson. I mean, these guys are brothers, man. These guys are brothers, man. And it goes back deeper. It goes back before the NBA with these guys, man. And now it's like it's just coming together, man. They won a championship in Villanova together, and now they're trying to win one in the NBA together. You don't see too many stories like that. I'm just saying, man. I'm not saying it's cooking, man.
I think to answer your point about greatest Nick, that's hard to do on a team that's had many greats, right? You talk about Patrick Ewing. The Patrick Ewing-led Knicks would probably run through the East in this era of basketball, right? Because of how they played and the physicality they were. There would be no contest in some of these games, the way the league has changed. So I don't want to just take away what Patrick did because he met one of the greatest, if not the greatest, not one of the greatest, excuse me. Let me rephrase that. He went up against the greatest basketball player in the history of the world. All right. So we have to factor that in when you talk about the New York Knicks and what they did. They also met a Hakeem Olajuwon team, Hakeem Olajuwon-led basketball team that would absolutely destroy Wembanyama right now in the Spurs if he played, right? So when we talk about these eras and like who the greatest Knick might be, we have to be careful. Brunson will have his name in the rafters if they win. He'll be referred to, in those guys because he got it done. But we can't forget the greatness of what like a Patrick Ewing was and that Knick team in the mid-'90s, how good they really were and how the NBA was, right? Because when you think about the NBA, there were legends across the league.
That's a fire answer. Absolutely.
Walt Clyde Frazier, Willis Reed. Just saying, man. A lot of great Knicks, man. There was some great Knicks. So people still talk about Willis Reed to this day. Willis Reed, they talk about him to this day. It's never going to die. I mean, look, Jalen Brunson's my guy. I'm a Villanova fan. Jalen Brunson is my dude, man. Been following him for a long, long time. But
he's a good player.
Great. But I can't, you can't just be throwing titles on guys premature. You know what I mean? He can earn that status. He absolutely can earn. He can maybe earn that status, but it's too early to talk about that right now. Way too soon to talk about that.
Well, listen, he'll be up there with the Knicks, right? When we're talking about Patrick Ewing's of the world, and we're reminiscing about the Knicks teams when he took them to the playoffs. Now they've consistently been there. He's a clutch closer. Like, he's the best closer in the game right now. Like, there's nobody that I want the ball in the hands more of than Jalen Brunson in the NBA, right? But there's also another guy on the other side that we talk about the Spurs. Let's move on to, SGA, because SGA is also him. SGA is also a guy that is a closer, right? So for me, it's got to be, we got to make sure that, that's one of the things that I think OKC has. They also have a closer that can match band for band Brunson, right? Like, Brunson goes down and scores.
What's going on? No Mets, no Nets, no Jets.
So no Mets.
So Brunson will be the greatest Knicks ever if they win it. I mean, look, I still think it's a little premature for all of that. Brunson is my guy. Like I just said, way back to Villanova, Brunson is my guy. But look, I think it's still, like I said, just Patrick Ewings and like I said, the Walt Clyde Frazier's, the Willis Reeds. It's just can't just overlook that kind of greatness either.
If he wins the championship, yes, I think you'll probably have to. What up, no Mets? Like the new logo. I think he'll have to be considered the greatest Knick of all time. But Patrick was a homegrown Knick. That's why I think it's different. While Clyde Frazier was a homegrown Knick, that's why I think it's a bit different. You know what I mean? Like, these guys were there for Knicks from end to end mostly. Most of their career. And I'm not counting Patrick Ewing on the Orlando Magic. All that bullshit. He was a Knick through and through. When you think about the New York Knicks, you think about Patrick Ewing, Allen Houston, John Starks, those guys, Charles Oakley's. You had a lot more, I guess, homegrown Knicks, so to speak. Like, that's why you love Eli Manning. Because it's like, sure, I would like Kerry Collins winning a Super Bowl, but it meant more with Eli because he was there. They drafted him. They put in the work. So I think when you talk about Brunson, he will be the greatest free agent signing the Knicks have ever had if he wins the championship. And he'll be a great Knick and for his time, however long that may be, right? But I think you have to put Patrick in that conversation just because of the longevity he was with the team and the impact he's had with that team that you still talk about to this day.
Good stuff, man. And I guess we can move it along a little bit, man. Look, I'm curious to see who they get up. Looking like right now the way this game is going, I mean, it's still a whole lot of basketball to be played, but right now, at the end of the first quarter, San Antonio up 35-22. They can keep this up before it's a game 7, man. All bets is off, but the Knicks is waiting. The Knicks is waiting for somebody, and like I said, they just can't discount what they're doing. I mean, like I said, to me, it would be one thing if they were just beating these teams, but they are absolutely clobbering them. I mean, clobbering these guys. So it just, to me, it's one thing to just beat teams, but the way what they're doing to them, they're just absolutely been destruction. And I get it, the Eastern Conference and all that, but I think when the team's got it going cooking like that, man, they're just going to be dangerous. It's going to be a tough out for anybody.
It's now or never for the Knicks. They have to win it now. Otherwise, I think they're a team that it'll be hard to get back there again, just because there's starting to be a lot of turnover in the NBA and a lot of young players coming up. I just think this is it. If you're going to win the championship next, you've got to do it. You've got to do it next week or starts next week.
I agree 100%. They have to win this year because we can't talk about the NBA without mentioning the best team on the planet, the Miami Heat. If we get Giannis, game over. Like, we're coming. We're coming. You know what I'm saying?
Stop all of that nonsense. Doesn't matter. Teams can't tank anymore, so now we're gonna see. We'll see. We'll see guys playing it all the way out. But let's talk about the New York Giants a little bit. Let's just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid all the way off. We all know about the headlines this week. Obviously, today, apparently, yesterday or whatever, Jackson Dart apparently had a team meeting addressing the team. I don't think it was necessary for him to do so personally. He shouldn't have to do that. But obviously, we all know the controversy, him and Abdul Carter, social media, all the hoopla. Let's not make it about the politics, fellas. Let's just talk about the situation. But Zion, let me hear something, bro.
Yeah, I think it's pretty stupid. First off, I think in this country, especially America, right, we should have our own opinions. And you said not to make it about politics, so I'm not. But whoever you vote for, you should be able to publicly display affection for, and not have to deal with ridicules, media, or teammates. I think it was wrong for Doom Carter to take it to the media and to make it public. I think that should have been done behind closed doors. Um, and regardless of you know anything else, I think it's just kind of stupid that Dort even had to apologize and he even had to host a team meeting because just for appearing at at a rally or wherever he appeared at and made that speech. There's a lot of shame in the community, in the celebrity community about openly endorsing him, and I just think that I love how Doyd is just being him and living a life as a kid. I just kind of don't like when people tend to, oh, they feel like they can't say how they really feel because they're maybe surrounded in a group that everybody feels this certain way. I love the fact that he doesn't feel that way. I love the fact that he can go and he can show up to whoever event he wants to show up to. I think hopefully it doesn't cause any rift in the locker room. I don't think it won't. And now that Abdul, he's young too, right? He's gonna learn from this situation. This is New York, man. This is not fucking South Dakota. Nothing against South Dakotans, but this is not the middle of nowhere. This is New York City, man, the biggest market in the world when it comes to media. And you know, a little mishap it can go a long way. And I just don't understand. I kind of feel like Abdul dropped the ball here. I mean, like I know he's media trained, and it stands for posting too. And Adam made a couple of good points earlier today when he was talking about this. That I'll let him bring out, but I think kind of like the social media definitely changed the way we these athletes can speak. And Abdul Carter should have known better, and it should have been behind closed door. Because when you do something in a city like New York, and especially in this day and age, everybody has their opinions. Everybody wants to get in on it, and then now it's unnecessary attention for the team, which I didn't like. When there's a lot of other good news that's coming out, and that we could be talking about, they're always going to highlight the negativity. And there's a lot of other NFL shit that's breaking that they're putting to the side because it's the New York Giants, right? So Abdul's gonna know now that just do it behind closed doors. And like if you feel like you need to check him or do anything like that, which I don't feel like you need to, he can vote for whoever the fuck he wants to vote for. I just think it just shouldn't have never been public. Yeah, so that's what I have to say on the issue.
All right, Judah tribal is the greatest. Judah's tribe is the greatest. I'm sorry, Judah. Well, look, you ain't really crossing no lines. You are expressing your free speech that you are granted in the land of America, and we appreciate you being here anyway, brother. Even though you are saying you are really lighting up the chat right now, but man, I don't know if you wanted to share some thoughts.
I do. Dave Chappelle had a joke years ago on one of his tours where he was saying, "Well, I was in the office and we were talking. We were having a personal conversation. My friend Chet, he goes, "Hey, Dave, last night with my wife, I was." And Dave Chappelle says, "Hey, Chet, hold on. Who'd you vote for?" He goes, Dave, that's personal stuff. So let me tell you about fucking my wife in the ass." Basically, what Dave Chappelle was saying is people rather take politics and make it more personal than, the bedroom shenanigans of what went on. So that's how people feel. You shouldn't be that angry about a guy meeting a president. How come you're not this angry about Josh Jacobs and what he did? Josh Jacobs in the news for something negative, something atrocious. Yet we're worried about a guy going to a rally for a standing president. Why? Because you don't like the president? Who cares? We should just let it go. It should not be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing at all. But here we are. It's damaging news cycles. Yet, meanwhile, Josh Jacobs goes right under the radar of what he's done. Rice, who re-ups his probation, nobody talks about that, right? Tyreek Hill has baby mama drama all over the place. Yet we're worried about this guy going to a rally. I'm just saying, it doesn't matter if you like the president or not. This is a once in a lifetime event. And listen, we're not going to get into how did Josh Jacobs beat up somebody. What are you talking about? How is shaking the hand of somebody you beat up? You're going to jail for strangulation. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? You're worried about Jackson Dart meeting somebody, and this is what we're talking about? My God. And listen, every politician is crooked, right? They all have their,
absolutely,
their flaws. Like, I'm not going to get into the last one. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to drag the show into that. What we're saying is, it shouldn't be in the news cycle. It shouldn't be at the top of the news cycle that he went and met a president. What should be at the top of the news cycle is why a running back of a football team is not the headlines. Why is he not cut from the football team with what's going on? Granted, the allegation, it could be circumstantial, but the point is, that's egregious. That's egregious. Yet we're talking about a guy who went to meet the president because his teammate couldn't express it. So it's okay for one side to say their piece and not the other. That's what the problem is right now. We should be able to talk freely and have a dialogue about things. That's all I'm saying.
Big facts.
Okay?
Big facts.
And I think that we are looking at this all wrong. Okay, we are looking at this all wrong. When whatever it is that happens, you don't have to like the guy. The guy is not a good person. I don't care. The guy met a president. Nobody had a problem with when other players meet a president. It's only this one, right? And it shouldn't be this polarizing, whether you like the guy or not. What should be on the news blotter, what you should be talking about and asking yourself, why is the NFL suspending Josh Jacobs? Why is that okay behavior? Why? Well, it was only affected one person. What does that mean? It only affected one person. What is that? What kind of comment is that? How he affects his team by going out there. If you're putting the image of the team on Jackson Dart for doing this, then you need to put the image of the team of Green Bay on the back of Josh Jacobs. You can't just take situations and make them fit your narrative. That's unacceptable. If you're going to do the same thing for Jackson Dart and blame him or make him feel bad or make it seem like it was bad, something that he did going to meet somebody, whether you like that person or not, how come we don't have that same energy for Josh Jacobs? I just don't understand. I don't understand why.
Big facts. And I think there's so much uneducated people in this country that doesn't really do their own research and that doesn't really know American values and American rights, that they just rinse and repeat what they say on media. I'm not gonna go here. We're not trying to make this a political show right now. This is a sports show. So I'm gonna ask the commenters right now, like if it's not containing the sports, the issue you guys are making really political right now. And I can go on a 3-hour rant on another podcast and explain the history of this country and the founding fathers and what really goes on behind the scenes, because there's so much other people that if you guys knew who was really on the files and what really goes on in society, whether it be the deep state and other factors of it, you guys will really understand. You guys really sound uneducated. You guys probably just listen to the news and rinse and repeat and don't go do your own research. Once I escaped the matrix and I started doing my own research, I'm able to look at things with an open mind and not look at things and not let others rent space in my mind for free and not focus on the negative. And I did that by finding Jesus. So I just want to end my take by saying everybody that has Trump rent free in their mind because they might hear something and it might basically get them so upset. Guess what? We can do a full 3-hour history dive on Barack Obama or Bill Clinton or Joe Biden. I'm a registered independent and I look at things with an open mind. And let's focus on sports here, guys. Let's focus on sports. Back over to you, Mac.
Well, no, look, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, one thing, I don't have conversations about politics. I just don't do it. You know what I mean? Because to me, like I said, they're all criminals. Left, blue, red. None of that shit matters to me. They're all crooks. They all have an agenda. But at the end of the day, the Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart situation, there are better ways to handle things. You know what I mean? Like, social media is just, once you put it out there, it's out there. And now you put it out there, and the what you call it, you put it out there into existence, and the media just runs wild with it. I mean, just ran absolutely wild with it. That's my issue with the whole situation. Is you got to understand that you're going to see Jackson Dart in the locker room. You're going to be around him every day, practicing OTAs during session. Talk to that man, pull him to the side, and you just talk to him. If you got like something that you want to say, you want to get off your chest, ain't nothing wrong with that. But once you put it out there into the world and make it everybody's business, that's just what it is. You know what I mean? The media just goes and runs wild with it, man. But look, this topic, it just spiraled out of control a little bit. Maybe we shouldn't have went there. Guys, freestyle, man. Talk about whatever, man. If I got anything else you want to talk about in general.
Yeah, I just want to say for the first time in a really long time, I'm super excited for Giants football, and I just can't wait. The days are going by faster. Preseason is just around the corner, and we're months away from it, right? And for once, watching all these videos, it's fun again, right? I used to go on Giants.com and not really care. Now I care, right? Eli Manning just released him dressing up as Mario for Tom Coughlin's charity. I love seeing the culture of this team flip overnight. I think John Harbaugh was just an excellent hire, and I think it's all on paper, but it's also when you have 18 years of experience.
I mean, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I was mentioning WWE and the lack of their writing.
Oh yeah, please go to WWE. But before you do, I'm just gonna end it there. I say that's basically what I want to say. Is I can't wait for football to start again. Go right ahead, Adam.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know there's a lot of drama happening in the chat, which whatever. It's can't cry about over spilled milk here. But Max, I guess to close it out is I've been trying to watch WWE, but I haven't been able to follow the pay-per-views because now they're on ESPN and I don't get that provider, and I'm not paying $30 a month for something I watch once out of the blue moon every once in a while. So, what I've been watching is it hasn't been that creative. I mean, AEW seems to be running laps around them creatively, and with the nostalgia of Edge and Christian winning championships and the way they're doing things with Darby Allin and how they're handling certain things, and John Moxley and some of the promos they cut, they're really, I think the WWE is starting to feel themselves a little bit, and they need to start to realize, like, you're going to lose a segment of your fan base if you don't really change this up. Like the Bloodline, I'm sorry, Roman Reigns being a champion, let's be real, he's here to boost ratings, but like, do I really want him to see the belt? The guy had the belt for 1,000 days, like 3 years. The guy had the belt. I don't need to see him have the belt again. Give guys a chance. Let's see the Braun Breakers, the Obafemis, those guys. I don't need to see Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi again. I know it's happening because of, Clash of Italy, and they need him to do that. But that match, to me, if Obafemi loses, you're gonna squash him, and you don't need to do that. He should be able to beat Brock Lesnar and say, listen, there's a new dog in town. I'm the guy. And then start to push his trajectory up. LA Knight deserves a title shot. Fatu has done great work, but we need to see more than just the Bloodline and Roman Reigns. I don't stop relying on that. And I'm going to say this too. I love Cody Rhodes. It's time for him to give up the belt to somebody else too, because you can only ride. He needs to turn heel. I love Cody Rhodes. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, but it's time to change his gimmick up a little bit. Let's give it a little different twist.
Big facts. And I love the fact that you brought that up. Big things on horizon for UFC as well. We got the UFC Freedom 250. That's going to come up. We'll probably be previewing that on this show too. And then I want to just say this, like, I'm going to say it proudly and I'm going to say it with all my pride. I voted for Trump and I fucking absolutely don't regret it. I have my co-host above me that maybe didn't, and maybe he doesn't like Trump. But at the end of the days, we're human. We can live in this country, and we can do a podcast every Thursday together.
Well,
so
look,
that being said, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here every week.
Open up that can of worms. I do not like Donald Trump.
Exactly.
I do not refer to him as the president because I will not put that title in front of his name. But that has nothing to do with politics. Like I said, I've had a strong dislike of Donald Trump going all the way back to the 80s, and it's just not going to change. It has nothing to do with the politics. It's just that. But look, I'll leave it at that. I'll put it that way. I'm not a guy. But at the same time, I have very good friends that are Trump supporters. I have other very good friends that are not. To me, it's irrelevant. It's about the people. It's about the people I keep in my circle and how I feel about those people and those individuals. And who they vote for is not going to make me pass judgment on them one way or the other. Point blank, period.
Point blank, period. And I love the fact that you wrapped that up for me, because that's basically what I was going to say. We're going to be here. We're going to be friends, and we're going to be talking sports. So if you guys are going to watch us, come watch us. But when you take over the comment and spam sense, you're not going to get heard. Please come enjoy the show no matter how you feel. At the end of the day, we're here to talk sports, and I love both these fellas above me, and I love Jeff up above looking down at all of us, man. All that being said, let's get it. Spurs in 7. Let's go.
I mean, look, right now, Spurs up 51-41, midway through the second quarter. Look, the Mets still suck.
Not over.
Oh, no, definitely not. Plenty of basketball left to be played.
I thought they were on a winning streak. I thought they were a winning streak.
No, they're not on a winning streak, Adam. Not at all. They're on a one-game winning streak. You mean that? Yeah, they're on a one-game winning streak.
The other day, like we're coming back. I'm like, really? they're like 10th on the.
I think they did have like a little 3-game winning. I think they had a little 3-game winning streak in there somewhere last week. I think.
Is it the manager? Is it the lack of effort? Like, what do you think?
It's everything right now, bro. They can't score runs. The pitching has been absolutely horrendous. I think they are managed poorly. It's just bad. It's just rotten to the core from the rooter to the tutor, bro. Like, it's no matter what they do, what they did in the offseason, it always looks good for the season. I mean, hell, honestly, they had an awesome first about 3 weeks of the season. Yeah, it was amazing. The first 3 weeks season, they were cooking. And then all of a sudden, man, it just the wheels went off, man. They had that 12-game losing streak, and it's just they've never been able to recover. To be honest, I mean, still right now, claw from the bottom of the NL East. This team is just terrible, and they've had some devastating injuries. Miss Juan Soto was out for a little bit of time. Lindor is out right now, still has been out, and who knows when he's coming back. It's been a lot of other injuries, a couple of other guys too, Lewis Roberts. But
do you think he should be fired?
I think he should have been fired a month ago, and at this point, they're content on retaining him. So for whatever reason, I mean, look, him and Cohen both need to get. They can both kick rocks. I mean, it just at this point, this team is absolutely destroyed. It's ruined, and the fact that you watch some of these other guys, the guys that, we didn't want to give them new contracts. We didn't want to retain them. People just wanted to run them out of town. Look what they're doing on their new teams. I remember when the Mets played Oakland about a month or so ago when they played Oakland, and Jeff McNeil absolutely just destroyed the Mets for that entire series. I'm like, yeah, but all we wanted to do is run Jeff McNeil out of town. You know, Brandon Nimmo playing solid down there in Texas. Polar Bear over there in Baltimore. I mean, this Mets team is a mess, man. It's crazy. The absolute worst team in baseball, in all of baseball, in either league. This team is a disaster. An absolute disaster. What's going on, Bookends, in the chat, man? Appreciate you popping in.
What up, Bookends?
Man, and who's this here? Skate Habitat 24, man.
Skate?
But anyway,
I appreciate you being here too, Judah. You keeping that chat flowing, though.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess like I said, I guess we touched the nerve with that one tonight, fellas. Maybe like I said, we shouldn't have quite went there. I don't know. Like I said, I was trying to keep it completely.
We go wherever we want to go. It's our show, man. We go wherever
To
we
be
want to
honest,
go. It's our show.
we didn't talk anything really. We were talking about how things should be perceived more so than a actual politics. Like, who cares?
Facts.
Whoever the president was, doesn't matter if it's Trump, Biden, whoever the fuck it was, right?
Facts.
It could have been anybody, right? Who was shaking his hand. The point is that there are other problems that we should be focusing on more than a guy going to endorse an acting president. Like, who really gives a shit? Like, this, why you were letting that ruin your day? But then it goes on sports radio and it becomes a story, and here that's why it's polarizing, right? Who cares who you voted for? I don't really give a shit, right? That's your business, not mine. That's why they put you in a voting booth anyways, right? But you bring up the idea wasn't about the politics itself. It was the calling out of a teammate about something that he did, regardless of what the situation is. Nobody is calling out Josh Jacobs and saying, "Hey, man, you're kind of a scumbag for beating up, your girlfriend, right, and strangling her." Nobody's saying that, right? So,
well, look, let me address this real quick, Adam. I'm sorry. Let me address, because no Mets. I think what the issue is Jackson Dart. Whether I get you how strong your feelings are, but he did nothing wrong. Nothing he did was wrong in any capacity. He did shit that was well within his rights, his God-given rights. I mean, whether you like it, I'm not a fan of it myself personally, but I'm not going to crucify the kid for it because he did what was within his within his rights to do. I mean, that's just what it is. That's the country we live in. That's the world we live in as Americans. I mean, it's just what it is. My issue with Abdul Carter personally was, like I said, it's just a right way to handle things, and then it's a wrong way to handle things. And you could have handled that. Something like that could have definitely been handled completely internally. Completely internally. It didn't have to. Abdul Carter's actions escalated this into the story that it is now, and it didn't have to go there. That's my issue. I'm not sitting there putting blame on anybody for real, because honestly, both of them did what was within their God-given rights. I just don't agree with the way Abdul Carter went about it.
No, my
Exactly,
one question
and go ahead, Adam.
If we flip the president, right, and we put, let's say, Biden, right, and let's say somebody on this panel liked Biden and somebody didn't like him, right, and Jackson Dart went to do that, and the backlash, and somebody like Bill Carter said, "Oh man, why is he doing that? Are we going to have the same thing?" No. Why? Because it's about the feeling of Trump. It doesn't matter who the president is. You're allowed to go visit the president regardless of what side of the aisle you're on. It shouldn't matter. Just because you don't like Donald Trump doesn't mean he doesn't, or he doesn't have to take the invite. He decided to take an invitation to a president, right? I don't know what his feelings are or what his views are, but the point is, it's something that you don't always do every day, right? Regardless of if it's, Biden. So my point is, what people need to do is take away the tunnel vision of what you're seeing and your hatred for who is in the act of what's doing, and look at what it is. Right? He was a celebrity endorsing somebody else. Nobody had a problem with, Megan Thee Stallion, grinding her ass for fucking Kamala Harris. Nobody said anything about that shit, right? So, but how is this any different than that? If he comes out and shakes his hand at a rally or some shit, it's only when it happens for that side, right? And Abdul Carter questioning it, it's his right to question it, but why would you question it on social media? You could question it to him.
That's the point.
Right?
He made it public. He made it public. He made it very public.
Right. You're making it a firestorm to already something that doesn't need to be a firestorm. When things that need to be a firestorm, Bill Carter should be shaking his head to Jacobs, questioning him. Bro, really? Like, how come that's not being questioned? All I'm saying is we need to start putting our energy behind things that matter, unlike a guy going to meet, a president that people don't like.
I mean, this is like, okay, I see a little bit here, but at the same time, also, he's Jackson Dart. Everybody knows he's the quarterback for the New York Giants. There's no secret. There's no secret to that either. So it's just like, I think we're just making. I think it's just too much about nothing right now, man.
Right, exactly. We're arguing about nothing. We're arguing about a guy shaking a guy's hand, and it's because people don't like the certain guy.
Yeah,
They're, oh my god.
I-
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
no
we're
sometimes
Giants.
loss,
no.
Yeah, we're Giants
This
fans.
is
no,
what
Yeah, we're
no
you
Giants fans.
just
tackles
Hold
are
on,
can't
broken.
even
hold
have a
on,
conversation with these kind of people. It's really
hold
no
on.
matter you just can't, you know.
I just want to make this one point. We're all Giant fans here, and we all love Lawrence Taylor. You know how much of a scumbag that guy is? You know how much of a jerk off that guy is, right? The things that he's done in the past, but yet somehow we still look at him and can praise him. So sometimes you just got to look at the situation and just, it's Jackson Dart meeting a president. You don't need to worry about it. It's going to be a footnote in history at one point. It's not like he's moving mountains to ourselves
Look,
or handle it in a way where we know there's not a firestorm. Bill Carter should have the wherewithal, he's not because he's young, to know that if he says something like that, it might blow up and be more than it is.
come on, let's not talk about Chad the Builder. Let's not, because that's not even, that doesn't even belong in this conversation, bro. Chud the Builder, that shit don't belong in this conversation. That's something completely off different.
I don't know what that is.
You know, I'll tell you out the air. We're not gonna talk about it on air. But
I just think honestly, Judah, no match respect, you know what I'm saying? But Judah, just chill a bit, brother. Just chill a bit. Just tone down a bit. You know what I'm saying?
It's all right,
it's not the perspective. It's not the perspective that I'm not respectful of. It's the way he expressed the perspective, so to speak. This is a situation that could have been totally handled behind closed doors. That's where I'm getting at. It's just a maturity thing, and that's where I'm at with it. It's a maturity thing. This era, this internet shit. I grew up in an era without this internet. I was already a grown damn man before the internet became a household thing. I was already a grown ass man. So what these little kids and young kids is doing now, I couldn't even imagine that back when I was their age. But it's just about the way he expressed it over the internet. Let everybody see, oh, it's a beef. Now, Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter got beef. Like, come on, man. People's minds are just gone. Let's just about football. It's the New York Giants, and we are a young team that has been terrible for a long time. We need to just be focused on football. I mean, you got issues behind closed doors. You handle it like gentlemen behind closed doors. Everything don't need to be made public. That's all I'm saying. Everything. Like them, if it wasn't for the Abdul Carter tweet, I would have never known Jackson Dart even went to that damn rally. I would have never had any fucking idea.
Same.
I didn't know either. But the point is, I think we're getting the point wrong here. And that is where we get caught up on names and things of people that we don't like, where we don't just see things for what they are, right? It's not like he's doing anything wrong out of the realm of this. And I think because of who it is, it makes it a polarizing thing, right? It's the same thing when we had
cut off Adam. As the OKC throws it into a 5-point game, he's back.
I mean, it's just like I feel like I said, like all you guys are very much entitled to your own opinions. I mean, that's just what the world is. You guys are entitled to your opinions, man. I just, and like I said, I'm one I feel just as strongly about Donald Trump the way you guys do, but I just don't feel the same way about this particular situation the same way you guys do. I feel exactly the same way about Donald Trump. Exactly. I mean, I just want the Giants to play football. I want to see the Giants play football again, and that's all I care about.
10-2 the last 2 minutes. OKC 53, San Antonio 58. Going into the second quarter, 10 seconds on the clock, and Johnson shoots, and Victor for the rebound. Go right ahead, Adam.
We're gonna start to wrap this show up so you guys get to the second half of that exciting game that's going on. It's a do or die game, so it's going to be exciting to the end. But the last thing I want to say is that we need to just, if things like this happen all the time. People are polarizing. Doesn't matter what line of work you're in. Look at the quarterback that we had here, right, a few years ago. How polarizing was that guy? right? And how the things that went on. So what we need to do is just keep it in football, not worry so much about it. It's not gonna. You're not gonna. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. You know. And I'm not going to lose any sleep that he went there. And all I was saying was I don't agree that they should have been the story that it is. That's all. And I think that's what we need to just focus on the basketball game and what goes on, and kind of keep not worrying about what people do and who they associate with, especially if they're not doing anything wrong, right? If he was, if he was out there doing something wrong, Jackson Dart, and getting in trouble. I mean, Abdul Carter, coming from him, a guy who falls asleep at meetings, like, give me a break, bro. Like, I'm just saying, you got to have a little bit more brain power. I think they will. The Giants are interesting because John Harbaugh. We know his political views. I don't want to bring him up here because people may run from being a Giant fan, but he is. I'm just being honest. He's the one steering the ship, and I'm sure he's up there. And I don't think Jackson Dart needed to address his team either. If I were Jackson Dart, I would have been like, "Oh well, that's it, bro." Like, "Oh well, like, what do you want me to do?" Like, I got to apologize.
I would have been like, "You mad, bro? Really? You mad, bro?"
I mean, I would have had some fun with it. But if people are going to be, if people are going to take it like that, and he's not going to go sack the quarterback for Jackson Dart, well then, whatever, man. If you want to lose, continue to lose. This basketball game, because I think that'll be more exciting.
All right,
I want to see what Wemby can do.
It's all good. I mean, this is the beauty of America. Right? We can all sit here and debate and have different opinions, and no matter what, we're all going to still feel the same way we all felt prior to the discussion. So nothing is changing here. I mean, but at the end of the day, we do appreciate all you guys. Appreciate you guys in the chat, even you, Judah. I appreciate you coming through.
Much love, Judah.
And spamming the chat a bit tonight. No Mets. Like I said, y'all opinions are definitely respected in bookends.
Bookends.
Like, appreciate you. You guys have any final thoughts before we get ready to wrap this up?
Nah, I'm just going to say everybody have a blessed night. Thank you for holding down the chat. And, just everybody go take care of business, go make their money, take care of their families, and sometimes we get so caught up in worldly things. Don't let the world distract you from the true thing that is Jesus. Bless up, guys. Let's get it.
Adam, anything?
Well, it's been another fun week hanging out with you guys.
Well, look.
Adam.
Well, everybody, I do appreciate y'all coming out tonight. Got a little controversial, but it was still interesting, to say the least. You know what I mean? So I do appreciate, like I said, all y'all opinions are respected, even though, like I said, we can't all be on the same page. Y'all opinions are definitely respected, man. Definitely appreciate y'all coming out to a
Can you hear me?
Premium. Can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Oh, I just want people to enjoy the conversation, and what Premium Takes is trying to do is bring people together, not divide you. If you got offended by some of the comments, well, that happens. That's what this world's about. Not everybody's going to like everything you say that comes out of your mouth or that you're talking about, right? So just wanted to say, enjoy it. We'll be back hopefully again at some point. Summertime is busy for us, but I'll let Mac take it over and take this thing home.
Yeah, I do appreciate y'all coming out tonight. And just in case anybody who doesn't know, this is the 3-year anniversary. Well, tomorrow is the 3-year anniversary of the death of our guy, the other horseman, NYG Jeffrey T, man. So always want to just remember the greatness that was Jeffrey Turner, man. Always, he'll be forever missed, man. He used to be right up here on your screen with us right here, talking to sports, man, doing this thing. We gonna always love you, Jeff. We always gonna remember you, man. Always. And
amen.
3 years. I can't believe it's been 3 years already, but Jeff's gonna take us home tonight, man. Jeff's gonna take us home tonight.
I don't care at this point. San Francisco could put out one of us as the starter at quarterback. I mean, Taylor Heineke came out. He had himself not an amazing game, but he had himself a efficient game. 26 for 32, passed for 256 yards. He had a touchdown and no interceptions. He had 110 quarterback rating, so that's pretty solid for his first week. For that last week, Zach Wheeler, Noah Syndergaard, Steven Matz, and who's the fifth one? Jacob DeGrom. Starting pitching's great. We're going to be blowing people away. I don't even think the starting pitching all pitched at one time together. WWE is in the position that they are now, and why they transition more to the indie style based wrestling, compared to what they used to be back in the 90s and the 2000s, where it was more about the big macho man guys. Eagles fans, this is not making you a Super Bowl team. And say Boston, because the way they came together as a team, the way they play defense right now, the way Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have stepped up their game, Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. How good of a defensive player is Brunson? Because Bridges is all NBA defense. That dude is one of the top defensive players at his position. Yes! Oh, wow. Yes! Let's go! That's exactly what I wanted, and that's exactly what we're getting, baby. Okay. Let's go! Okay. That's my top guy on the boards, and Deontay Banks is a New York freaking Giant. Let's go, baby!
Thank you, everyone. Good night.